Next up, we have, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Erin Mansur. Awesome. And when asked what places have you had foundational education outside of the classroom, she replied, at a small square wooden table in the corner of the kitchen, on a chair closest to the sink, perched on a stack of phone books and at least one dictionary. I watched, I heard, and I learned the lessons that remain the most important ones of my life. Oh, that is very poetic, which is fitting. Big round of applause for Erin.
So one thing you should know about me before we get started is that I'm deaf. So I'm not exactly sure, I can't hear you and I can't hear myself. So I'm not exactly sure how loudly I'm speaking. So if I'm not speaking loudly enough, you have to let me know. This first poem is titled Lesson. Swing my legs covered in itchy knee socks to keep the dizzy numbness from sitting on the hard pew from spreading down and outward. I heard the preacher say, Jesus saves, and watched my great aunt, as he may, shake like a sapling in a storm, except in the auntie was built more like a spreading chestnut tree. Then auntie calls out, Jesus, Jesus, a half a dozen times, each word rising in pitch and urgency, as if being pulled like a tooth from the back of her mouth, before collapsing in a writhing heap of skirts in the aisle facing the altar. What's the matter with Auntie? I hissed to Yolanda, alarmed. Jesus is touching her, Yolanda says. Touching her where? I asked another to get stank eye from Nana. That shushed me up right quick, and even made me stop jiggling my legs. Not even know-it-all Yolanda had an answer for that. Later, sucking on a cherry popsicle on the front step, bare-free, but tapping staccato feet beats on the hot boards, cause can't no part of me stay still for too long. I wondered about the notion of Jesus saving. I tried to square it with the image of the only Jesus I knew, who was the town handyman and junk man and every kind of man. I heard Nana say once he walked his bike because he was too hungover most days to ride it proper. And I wondered how Jesus managed to make my great aunt, who never ruffled a wig hair, nor died to show even an inch of her pressed stiff slip to Uncle, even when he asked for a little something something, fall straight up and out the way she done. The Jesus I knew couldn't even balance on his two wheels, let alone push that woman so hard and fast, none of the deacons could catch her, for she hit the church floor and showed the world her wares. If Jesus couldn't save her from the shame of showing her small clothes to everyone, then how was Jesus going to save me in any ways? This was the beginning of disbelief. This second poem is entitled How to Throw a Punch. Could be nothing you done. Maybe he's had too much to drink, or he's making muo mocho for some pussy watching from the wings. Could be you remind him of someone he knew a way back when, none of that means jack. Posing or no, take him serious. Hate him for bringing his troubles to your door. Fix that hate in your head and feel it all the way to the floor. Make a mark of him as he comes up on you, and keep his hands in your side eye. And don't be fooled by nothing he might be saying. Deadly intense felt before it's seen, like heat lightning on a clear day. Watch for it. Feel it. The flash behind his eyes, that'll tell you when he's fixing to throw. Hold your chief hand closest to you, quick. Now, you hear me? Quick. Slam his ear with your palm laid flat like this. You hear that popping? You see them stars? That trick will give you time to choose your move. Make a fist with your thumb resting on the ridge of your longest finger, elbows facing straight behind you. Aim just past him and shoot with your knuckles leading. Put a tip in the angle and rotate your wrist toward the inside like you're pouring out a pitcher of water. Bring your hate from where it's sitting on its haunches on the floor. Let it leap through your legs right to the bastard's shin. Put your whole weight behind it and flex every muscle you got so that you don't make no never mind when the skin on your knuckles split. Expect him to have it in him to swing back and to land at least one of his own. No matter what, you don't go down, you hear me? You stay on your fucking feet. You make him work to fell you. And if you feel yourself going down, well, get in close. Take him with you. Side by side in the mud, you're even enough, all right, and he can't kick your head in. Listen, there ain't nothing wrong with a throwdown every once in a while. It gets the ugly out. And besides, taking your lick will remind you there's a beauty to drawing a pain-free breath, and not many gets to have it in this world. You're no better than the rest. If you're done like I told you, and he's still standing, still coming, well, you make up your mind to keep on hating for however long it takes to get the job done. This poem is called Peel the Bones. Peel the Bones is an old way of saying a bitter cold wind. Take the road past the row houses with the wide smiling porches, sheltering dilapidated couches and kitchen chairs that face the street like theater seats. Past the windows with flowered curtains obscuring conjectures about the state of things. Go past the mutt on the 2-mile length of chain attached to the post in the yard, who beats a bare path through clover-flecked grass from under the house to under the truck. Past the pool hall where Jenny sells loose tobacco and papers from behind the bar. Past the wide, dusty windows of the General Feed, Dress Barn, Buster Brown shoe store. Past the high school sign with the mascot, a caricature of the people who aren't allowed in town after sundown anyway. Go past the picket line of churches with the marquees claiming that Jesus saved, but not that one. Past the tilted tin placards proudly proclaiming that someone had been born here and then left here and then it did an important thing elsewhere and then never returned here and never will. And every dozen miles or so, go past the same smiling and fat white baby featured on the wide billboard like a rising loaf of Wonder Bread, advocating a right to a life, just 2 exits before the next reservation casino. Past the pastures and the fences and the prairie, the sloping suggestion of hills, the few trees here and there standing vigil beside the cracked, empty creek beds, and the sky. The sky. So much smooth sky. It is there, right there. That is where the wind is born. That is where it rises, still wet and panting from the act of its creation. This is where it stands on long, unsteady tendrils, where it steps, it strides, it runs, it hunts, and it finds. It gnaws at anything and everything uncovered, freeing content from form, peeling feeling from bone. This one's slightly racier, and I apologize in advance. To P. I am wearing your shirt, knotted under my breast, with the white cotton panties, reminiscent of the never-been-kissed girlhood I never had, but you like to imagine for me. I came to this the way I came to you, eyes wide enough to show their whites, hair loose and thick with almond scents and bated breath. My lips together in a closed smile, the tip of my tongue pressed against my teeth, testing their edge, waiting. I am stretched on the Bottice bedspread, the one embroidered with the leaves and the vines, the white on white plums half hidden in the profusion. My own fruit is hanging low, heavy and shining with the effort of affecting a nonchalance, anticipating your key in the door any minute now. I will not, no, I will not look at the clock. I will not count the minutes etching its face like scratches on my ego I would rather put on your back. I will not pat my own softness with impatience, remembering the thickness of your thumb there and right there. You will get here, and when you do, it will be like it was that one time last summer when too tired to fuck we talked and said. A different kind of cleaving, one to the other. While the full moon pries and spies with her sly eyes through the thin lines of those window blinds, we lay waiting and aching and wanting.